ODBEST Global: Business, Engineering, Strategy, Technology.
This analysis is grounded in the claims strategy and contract administration frameworks developed by engineer Olan Deems of ODBEST Management Consultancy. When regional hostilities escalate, economic shockwaves transmit immediately through global supply chains. Project baselines are instantly fractured by the physical intrusion of conflict. For contractors executing engineering, procurement, and construction contracts, this translates into blocked shipping lanes, soaring material costs, and labor mobility paralyzed by security concerns. Contractors locked into fixed-price international infrastructure agreements are highly vulnerable. Without robust price adjustment mechanisms, they absorb the hyperinflation of logistics, insurance premiums, and spot market materials directly into their margins. Geopolitical risk is an immediate, physical threat to commercial viability. It requires an aggressive, structured response. When disruption hits, many contractors make a dangerous assumption. They group every war-related impact under a generic force majeure claim. This creates a severe financial trap. Under standard force majeure clauses, an accepted event often grants an extension of time, but provides zero compensation for the direct costs incurred. You avoid liquidated damages, but you swallow the financial losses. Under internationally recognized frameworks like the FIDIC suite, entitlement to financial relief is never automatic. It requires precise contract interpretation. To secure recovery, contractors must legally fracture the macro geopolitical event. You isolate the specific physical and commercial impacts, a closed port, a destroyed shipment, a new export ban, and map each one to its precise contractual hook. Recovering these potential losses depends on using a contractual classification matrix to isolate each project impact and identify its specific legal remedy. The core rule of claims strategy is simple. The specific cause of the impact dictates the specific contract clause. This flowchart maps entitlement pathways. The first column covers force majeure, yielding time but limiting cost recovery. The second tracks employers' risks, allowing time, cost, and profit. The third is changes in law. The final column tracks price adjustment, triggering direct financial relief. A delay from a blockade yields a different payout than steel destroyed by a missile strike. Upfront classification dictates the ultimate financial recovery. Using a disciplined classification matrix maps every disruption to its most defensible clause. This establishes the legal foundation for recovery and prevents the submission from being dismissed as a generic complaint. With the event classified, execution begins with Step 1, issuing the immediate formal notice. FIDIC contracts are unforgiving on deadlines. Failing to submit a notice within the required time bar window extinguishes an otherwise perfectly valid claim. This initial notice does not require detailed quantum analysis. It simply needs to state the specific clause reference, identify the affected work packages, and broadly reserve your rights to claim time and cost later. Step 2 requires proving causation. You must establish that but for the conflict, the delay or cost would not have occurred, demanding a forensic-level trail of contemporaneous records. General news headlines are insufficient. You must provide official government travel advisories, insurer alerts, sanctions circulars, and supplier force majeure notices. You must also maintain a strict mitigation log. This documents every attempt to reduce the impact, tracking all alternate supplier inquiries, accelerated fabrication reviews, and emergency rerouting studies. Without that immediate time bar notice and a forensic documentary trail, the physical disruption affecting the site remains legally invisible to the employer. Step 3 links the documented logistical failure directly to the project's completion schedule. This demonstrates a time impact analysis. Inserting the specific delay event, the red block, into the baseline schedule maps how it pushes subsequent critical path activities to the right. The analysis must mathematically demonstrate exactly how many days the event shifted the final completion date. Step 4 moves from schedule impact to the quantum submission, where the actual financial loss is calculated. Cost recovery follows a strict formula. It requires substantiating the exact delta between the original budgeted tender price and the actual incurred cost, backed by purchase orders, supplier quotations, and proof of payment. Mastering the time impact analysis and the quantum schedule transforms a theoretical grievance into a rigorous, mathematical, and legally binding invoice. A well-prepared employer will aggressively challenge the submission. Recognizing and structuring the claim against their predictable defenses is essential. First, the employer will argue the event was foreseeable due to pre-existing regional tensions. The counter strategy relies on objective market data. By presenting evidence of overnight freight surcharges, sudden route closures, and immediate insurer advisories, you prove the specific escalation was an unforeseeable market shock. Second, the employer will accuse the contractor of failing to mitigate the disruption. You weaponize the mitigation log here. Proving that paying a premium spot market price for alternate materials prevented critical path delay establishes your actions were commercially reasonable and saved the employer money. Third, the employer will argue the delay was concurrent with contractor delays or simply not on the critical path. The time impact analysis acts as the shield against concurrency arguments, mathematically isolating the exact moment the disrupted activity became critical. Finally, the employer will dismiss the financial claim as an unsupported lump sum. You counter this by bridging every single additional cost item back to the causal event, using reconciled schedules, audit trails, and meticulously mapped cost codes. Structuring the initial claim with these specific defenses already in mind separates a successful recovery from a total rejection. Zooming out from individual claims, survival in global construction requires macro-organizational readiness established long before a crisis begins. Executive leadership must audit contracts immediately, map out exact notice periods, define employers' risks, and price adjustment mechanics to shorten the response time when disruption hits. Organizations must activate a predefined war room protocol. This enforces strict evidence collection and stops internal confusion during the chaotic first days of a conflict. Supply chains must be managed with equal discipline. Subcontracts must contain back-to-back notice and evidence obligations, keeping upstream and downstream claims aligned. Without this alignment, main contractors face severe gap risk, becoming financially liable for downstream subcontractor disruptions without any legal pathway to recover those costs from the employer. In an era of global volatility, rigorous contract administration provides the primary commercial protection for corporate survival. Successful claims isolate recoverable facts from general anxiety. They rely entirely on the contract's own terms, backed by undeniable evidence. If you found this analysis valuable, subscribe to stay ahead in contracts, claims, and commercial strategy. Join us as we continue to break down complex concepts into clear, actionable insights. Or, for more expert insights and structured breakdowns, visit www.olandeems.com. Precision in strategy and power in decision.
ODBEST Global Management Consultancy. Precision in strategy, power in decisions. See you in the next insight.